Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Tier 1 Concealed, and we have another Q&A video for you today. We got Miles here and Colin, and we're just going to go through a bunch of questions that we see a lot in the comments on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and a lot of comments that you guys ask when you reach out to customer service. So hopefully we can answer some of those and clear up some things and give you guys some good information. One of the most common questions that we get on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube is about our personal EDC setups, specifically the holster we use, the gun we like to shoot, and our belt setup. So we'll go over that real quickly, starting with Miles. What do you carry?
I carry this little guy. Don't worry about this little guy. It's an M&P 2.0, and it is a mixture of Floyd's Custom Shop and Monsoon Tactical. Floyd's cut the slide. I then sent it to Monsoon, who did the Lucky 7 sporting on top. I have a Floyd's brass competition magwell. I have an Apex trigger. It's the whole kit. I have an Align Tactical thumb rest or gas pedal. And I have a Trijicon SRO on top. It's all sitting in an Axis Elite. I personally like the Axis Elite a lot. I like the Apex a lot as well, but I don't adjust the cant. I don't compete. I don't need to do that or raise the height higher or lower. And so I've ended up most of the time going back to the Axis Elite because it's already set up how I would want it.
Yeah.
And then I just have extensions, some Floyd's extensions on the base plates.
So this is the gun that you decided kind of at the beginning of the year you're going to dedicate yourself to, pretty much.
Yeah.
Shoot this for a year, see what happens.
Yeah, for the whole year. Because I did that last year with my Noveski Glock 45, and I saw like massive improvements. And that was, aside from the trigger and some aesthetic stuff, a factory gun. There was no ports, no comps, no nothing like that. And so this year it's basically a full competition gun, ported, big magwell,
Yeah.
everything. And I feel like we get a lot of comments about how much I've improved, but really I just am shooting a gun that's ported. So I look way flatter. It can shoot way faster.
Yeah. Well, this gun's sick. I've shot his M&P and it's very flat, very, very pleasant to shoot.
This is peak M&P.
Yeah. As long as you have good ear pro in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ports are loud. But yeah, no, that's a good setup. And have you always been running the wedges?
This year on this particular holster setup, yes. I didn't run wedges for a while because I don't need them for concealment. And then I had to take a while off of carrying, as did you, as did a couple other people. So taking several months off and then getting back into carrying, I was in a different stage of my life. You know, my back has always had issues and now had more issues than ever. And so comfort was top priority at that point, and I still wanted to carry a full-size gun. I didn't want to sacrifice shooting performance if I could get away with it, and so I started playing with wedges, and I've ended up really liking one on each side. A fat one on the gun side and a skinny one on the mag side, and it's not to conceal any better. For me, it's the thinnest one we offer. It's purely just comfort and taking away hot spots and making it as easy on my body as it can be.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. And we'll get into wedges a little bit later. There's been quite a few questions about that, like how to use them, what they're for. But this is a great example. You can throw 2 wedges on your holster if you want. Some people don't need them. Some people absolutely love them, and they're like a must-have. So thanks, Miles. I'll go. This is kind of a newer EDC setup for me personally. This is the Apex holster, and I've been trying to carry this exclusively for the last maybe about a month or so. Before that, I was carrying an Axis Elite, like Colin and Miles, pretty exclusively. For me, and this has been this way for years, that has been the best holster that I've ever worn. It's a combination of concealment, comfort, and consistency on the draw. So that holster has been like top of the line for me and my needs and all that. But I wanted to give this a shot and really spend some time with it. This is a newer holster that we made in collaboration with Donovan Moore of Point One Tactics. And you've probably seen a bunch of stuff about this. This is a holster set up to kind of be dual purpose, conceal carry every day, as well as a competition oriented holster. So a cool feature about that is the spare mag carrier. The configuration, you can customize it to however you want it to be. You can get the spare mag angle real steep like this, or I guess that's shallow. I don't know. You can get it set up further away, higher, lower, however you want. So very customizable. So I've been trying this and I like it. I'm still not sure if I prefer it over the Axis Elite or not, but that is to be determined. The gun I've been carrying is a full-size ZevTech OZ9 with the metal grip module here. And this is the long slide. So a 34 length, if you're comparing it to a Glock, 34 length slide and barrel. And it is completely stock from Zev as they come, with the magwell and a Trijicon SRO, the 1 MOA dot size on there as well. And this is a sweet gun. And I've been shooting OZ9s for a long time, really like them, and so that's why I like to carry. I feel very confident with this pistol. So that's the setup, and oh, we forgot belts. I'll tell you my belts. The Agonic EDB. That's what I'm wearing right now. That's my favorite belt. But what?
And I run the EDCS, which is our collaboration with Hunter Constantine. So
Yep, another very good, flexible yet rigid style of belt. So, and I think that's what you use as well.
For the most part, yeah.
Tell us about your gun.
Okay. So, for those of you who watch all of our videos, you won't be very surprised. Got the trusty Glock 45, Langan Glock 45, done up by them with, all their stuff and polished stuff, and then the grips have that. I don't even know what they call this. It's definitely laser though, and
Yeah, like a laser stipple.
laser stipple. But I mean the pattern, not brick. I don't know.
Oh, it's if you're on the Langdon website looking at their custom Glocks, it's the large brick patterns. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
I like it. I like it a lot. Then we've got the RMR on top, and then the Radian setup with the ramjet and afterburner. This is an Apex trigger, and then I got these like copper or rose gold, whatever you want to call them, parts. I think from Glockstore.com, or no, Glock Candy. That's what it's called.
Glock.
I think so. Maybe I have to double check that.
no
I'll put it
free
in the
plugs.
description.
You owe us money now.
Yeah. Agreed, actually. And then no magwell, because I actually like the Gen 5 magwell quite a bit. And then this base pad is, remember who this is?
I think that's Continuous Precision.
Yeah, that's the one. And yeah, I've been running this thing for a while, and I still love it. It's a great gun. Oh, and I have the Guardian on there also. As far as my holster, I'm running the Axis Elite. I also like the Apex a lot. I run that when I do switch to my M&P carry comp, which you might be seeing more of, because every time I shoot it, I just like it so much. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't decide. I'm indecisive. Anyways, I do run a wedge on the back. This is the 1.5 inch small. I'm like Miles. I didn't run wedges for a while, but then I put it back on, and I was like, what have I been doing? It's so awesome. Another little fun thing is I got this little pad. I think at like Ace Hardware or something. It's very similar to the wedge material, and it just helps with this hot spot right here. And I just cut it up so that it fits there. Yeah. A fun thing, or an interesting thing about me that might be a little bit not counterintuitive, but opposing to what other people do. I run a Zyphos Elite whenever I'm like bringing my gun in my backpack or something, which doesn't make sense because it's a backpack. You'd think you'd want more mags, but the backpack I carry around with me doesn't fit this whole setup very well. So I'll throw my Xiphos Elite and just not have a mag, or I'll have a mag somewhere else in the backpack. And or if I know I'm going to be carrying my gun like in the pocket of my car or something, sometimes I'll just use the Xiphos Elite because it's a little less bulky in that way. And I know that doesn't make sense. But yeah, as far as my belts go, I do carry the EDCS, our collab with Hunter belt, mostly. But when I know I'm going to do like a full day with these guys, and I want to like be dialed as much as possible, I'll throw on either a core belt or that howitzer belt. Actually, that's probably more my go-to lately because it's just a little bit more stability and consistency in the draw. So I like that. But daily carry is my EDCS, and it's really good. So
Yeah.
that's my holster and gun.
I guess I should say before I move on, because I said I have the only tactical gas pedal, and that is actually a very common question we get when we post my guns. You do have to modify the holster for it. It's not covered by warranty because most of you will probably mess it up, and we're not going to tell you how to do it. Well, I mean, you use a heat gun.
Yeah, you can Google it.
I don't know. Maybe I'll make a video on my own and never post into Tier 1's official page because it's not an official recommendation. But it's Kydex. It's open source, dude. Play with it.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you
Valid.
want. It just, it might void your warranty depending on what you do.
Yeah. It's I don't want to say it's easy to mess up a Kydex holster with heat, but it's not hard. You can definitely mess up your holster, so.
But if you are willing to play with it enough, you can. And I don't know, maybe Colin can tell me after I say this if I need to cut this example out. But on certain lights, it's friction retention. You don't have click retention like you do off a trigger guard. TLR 7 being the one I have in mind, TLR 7 sub on a Glock 43. You guys always complain we don't have sub compacts in the photos and stuff, so we've actually been buying a bunch of sub compacts because none of us own them. And playing with that, running it with a TLR 7 sub and the Align Tactical gas pedal, a holster that normally is only friction retention because I have the gas pedal on it and because I was essentially adjusting it myself, I was able to put some click retention in there off of the gas pedal. So there is potentially some benefits depending on your setup that you could learn how to do. But again, that's up to you if you want to void your warranty or not. It's like lifting a brand new factory truck. A lot of the times, for what you want, you can make it a little better catered to you specifically, but it might void your warranty.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all of that is a good point. But that reminds me of a question that people ask all the time that we don't have on our list today: is why doesn't my gun click? That's why. Most likely, it's because you got one with a friction retention light on it. Food for thought.
Yeah. We try to get like a click, like a positive, like audible click on all the holsters we can. But with certain lights, it's just not very doable. And the click, it's like, I guess it's reassuring. It's cool, but I mean, it's not necessary, right? You can have a very secure, very good retention on something that doesn't click.
Yeah, don't think your holster's broken if it's not clicking.
So Miles was talking about the Align Tactical and how he modified it. I modified this MSP OWB holster to fit this little suppressor, and this is actually what I would like to carry. I want this to be my EDC, but I haven't figured out how.
So this just don't reholster after shooting it a bunch.
Yeah, you got like a couple rounds, and then need to wait a few minutes and then reholster. But this is another OZ9 with the Silencer Co. Spectre 9K X300 on there. And I just modified this OWB holster because this is a small can, so I didn't have to modify it a bunch in order to fit. But I don't know. Comment below if you think we should make suppressor cans. We've actually made a bunch. But
Suppressor holsters.
Sorry.
We're not going to make suppressors.
Yeah, comment below if you want us to make suppressor holsters. It probably won't happen even if everybody comments, but we would like to know what you guys want to see.
And the overall point being, as with literally any product, you can customize it as much as you want, as long
Okay.
as you are willing to play. I mean, it's the same as stippling.
Yep.
People play with stippling all the time, but for some reason are afraid to take a heat gun to their holster.
That is funny.
Stippling is way more permanent.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yep. Yep. But the disclaimers out there, that's not something that we'll cover with warranty. Speaking of warranty, we do often get a question about warranty. Are our holsters warranted? The answer is yes. We have a lifetime warranty on our holsters, which is pretty cool, I think. So if anything happens to it, like it cracks or it's defective in some way, or it just doesn't fit, like maybe something slipped through the cracks in QC and we sent it out, hit us up, shoot us a message, a DM, or hit up customer service. They're really great about that, and we will get you a new holster. We'll get you taken care of really fast, so you don't have to wait or be out of a holster for very long at all. What are other
I
warranty issues?
I do kind of want to talk about the process of that, just so that people
Yeah.
don't think that it happens instantly. Usually the customer service or whoever you're talking to, maybe him on DMs or something, will ask for some kind of pictures or videos so that we can kind of see what's going on. Just because what we don't warranty is you not liking your purchase or you got a different gun and you want to switch it out or something like that.
And also sometimes if we can tell that it's something that can be easily remedied, like we could maybe give you instructions on, be like, oh, hey, just loosen this retention screw and it should work, or something like that. So you could avoid just having to send it in and wait for shipping times and all those things. So
Yeah, but those guys are pretty good. The customer service guys, they'll take good care of you. And if it is some kind of a misunderstanding on how to use the holster or something or adjust it, they can usually find that pretty easily and help you out.
yeah. So what do you know, like kind of an average like turnaround time for a warranty issue? Because what I've seen is it seems to be pretty quick. Like production might only take a day or two, a business day or two at most.
Yeah, we try and get those out quick because, like you said, we don't want people to be without their holster, not being able to carry.
So if you do have an issue, whatever it may be, please reach out. And it's always helpful if you have pictures or videos you can send in, as well as your order number or like the email that's attached to your order or something like that, so we can look up your order quickly. So moving on, let's just go ahead and talk about wedges. So I got some wedges that are not attached to holsters, just to kind of
I feel like I should bring up one more thing about the warranty.
let's bring up one more thing about the warranty.
I'm sorry. The warranty is subject to what we're currently making. So, like, if you bought a holster a while ago and you have a tall sweat guard, you're going to get a mid sweat guard because we don't offer tall anymore.
Oh, yeah.
So that's something to keep in mind.
That's true.
If you know you're going to reach out.
On the flip side of that, if you reach out and you have an old
Business.
OG Axis, you're going to get a free upgrade to an Axis Elite
So true.
or an Axis Slim, depending on what model you decide or we offer your configuration in.
Yep. So giving and taking there.
Yeah. Usually you get the better end of that stick, and whatever it is, the newest, best version of the holster that is being dealt with. So are we good on warranty stuff?
Yep.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about wedges, since that's kind of fresh on the mind. What is a wedge? Why would someone use a wedge, and what's it for? So we have different sizes. Probably the most common size is the 1.5 inch. What do you say?
Yeah, I think so.
Wide.
1.5 inch wide. So when we talk about these wedges, there are different widths as well as different thicknesses. Okay. So if you can see this, you can see the shape of the wedge, right? This flat back, that is where the adhesive is. That's what you stick to the holster. Just like this. You can see that. Fat part on the bottom towards the muzzle, right? So these wedges are made out of foam, and they are dual purpose. They can help with comfort, and they can also help with concealment. and they can obviously do both. So we have yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
I was going to say the intended purpose is fat part on bottom, but maybe you're competing from appendix. You could, if you want, run fat part on top and it would push your holster out. In a situation you don't care about printing, you actually just want tons of room for your hand to get in there.
Yep. Yeah, so true. You can really use these however you want in whatever configuration you want. So what he is meaning, so we have just this Axis Elite holster right here. This is where your belt rides, right? So I'm going to flip it so you can see the side profile. So where my left hand is, that's like where the belt is. So for a concealment situation, you want added concealment, you put the wedge with the fat part on bottom, and that is going to push the bottom, because here's your body. It's going to push the bottom away from your body, right? Like that. And since it hinges on your belt line, which is up here, that's like kind of the axis there, it will bring the grip and the top part of the gun, which is typically where you would be printing the most, that will bring that in towards your body. So just a little bit of a tilt like that inward, and that actually can help tremendously with printing and concealment. So that's one of the biggest advantages to a wedge. But also, like Colin and Miles mentioned, they're both running very, very thin wedges. This one's pretty thick. This is a size large. We have small, medium, large, so 4 thicknesses, right? Just for comparison, this is a small thickness. And I don't think we have an XL. This is an XL, so even thicker than this one, right? And then we have 3 different widths. So hopefully this isn't confusing, but here was our like original width. It's 1 inch. And then we have a 1.5 inch. And then we have a 2 1/4 inch width. So probably this middle one's the most common and would work on pretty much all setups. But if you need something thinner, we have this 1 inch width. And if you're carrying something that's a fairly large setup, like this holster is made for a weapon light, you can throw on the widest one, the 2 1/4 inch. So we have a lot of options. You can mess around with that.
Yeah, we've seen some pretty wild setups.
Yeah.
With multiple, more than 2. Like people will get a big old boy on here, and then they'll throw these little guys, in different areas. It's pretty funny to see it.
Yeah.
All power to them. Way to make it work for you.
Yeah. So I mean, if you think there's a certain corner or a certain piece of your holster that's kind of digging into your leg or somewhere, you could slap a thin wedge on there, see if that extra padding helps that. Or if you feel like the gun's just kind of top heavy, and like the grip's just kind of like tipping out like this, you can throw a wedge on there to try to bring it back into you. So that's why we made these wedges. And like we mentioned before, they're an absolute game changer for some people, but they might not be for everyone. So maybe it's worth experimenting yourself. Okay, moving on. How many rounds do you think we shoot a month, and how many rounds do you think we shoot a year? That's a question we get a lot. We post a lot of drill videos, and that's because we know you guys like them. They're also fun for us to make, and I like trying new things, right? But sometimes for us 3, I think I can speak for all of us, sometimes that's like all the training we're doing in a month is maybe two of those videos a month. So for me personally, I probably on an average month, I'm shooting less than 500 rounds. Would you say that's fairly accurate?
I would say definitely accurate, because I don't know about you guys, but the only shooting I do for the past couple of years is when we go shooting.
When we go out and film videos.
I just don't have time to go out on my own. And 2, we are fortunate enough to train enough here that I don't feel the need to have to go out. So if I am going out, it's purely for fun. Usually someone else wants to go shooting.
Yeah.
That's kind of the give and take of working in the industry. Is something that was once fun is now work. So sometimes the opposite happens, where what was fun feels like work, even if outside of the work environment. And I probably speak for all of us that our priorities have shifted a little as far as what is fun outside of work, because we get to do the original fun thing at work.
Right. Yep. 100% true.
The other fortunate thing is we get to train with like legit people.
Mm-hmm.
And so we get to be really efficient with the ammo we use. And yeah, I would say like, I would probably agree with you on the 500, but we will go months where we go to the ranch twice and we burn through 3,000 rounds.
Yeah.
And that can happen 3 months in a row. So
Yeah.
it's just kind of inconsistent, honestly.
And on the flip side, like in the winter months, we're not shooting outside, and nobody likes indoor ranges, so we don't do that as often in the winter months. So yeah, it's true. I guess it depends on the month. Honestly, depends on the year. The end of last year and beginning of this year, Miles and I and Taylor and Jared, we didn't shoot at all for months, not a single round. And so, it just depends. But
You had no good excuse.
I guess the point here is you don't have to shoot a ton to get good. But you do need live fire for sure. You do need to train. And if you're trying to be a GM, or if you're trying to win majors or be a really competitive shooter, you're going to have to shoot a lot more for sure. There are a ton of like really solid dudes now. I would say the playing field right now for pistol shooting is as good as it's ever been, in history, right? Because we have social media, we have this rise of competition of USPSA stuff, and we have new shooting sports coming out. So there's more opportunity and more media out there for people to see and to like be like, oh, that's cool, I want to do that, so that's awesome. I would like to honestly shoot more, but like Miles said, this time thing, we got family, we got work, got all these things, and we're lucky because sometimes we get to have fun and shoot for work.
Yeah, I think it's important to say that it's not because we don't want to shoot outside of work. It's just when you've got your family or shooting, you're like, oh, well, I went shooting yesterday. I should probably do the family thing today.
Right.
So it's like, yeah.
Yeah. If we weren't in the situation we are in, obviously training outside of work would have a much higher priority because of family and being able to protect your family. None of us want to be the guy that hits the innocent bystander because you suck at shooting.
Right.
If you're going to carry, be good. Don't be the liability.
Couldn't agree more.
Yep. And also have that mindset where like you're not good enough, right? At least that's my personal kind of stance on that.
Well, hold on. Aaron takes that to a new level, especially when it comes to fitness.
Yeah, this fat guy over here.
I'm working on it, guys.
This fat guy that can't beat Hepner ever.
He won't let us compliment anything about him.
Okay,
Shooting or
we're
otherwise.
derailing. We are derailing. That's reeled back in. So, in a perfect situation, we'd all be the best shooters in the world, right? Because if we're going to have to pull out our gun in a public space and defend lives, right? We want to be as quick and efficient and confident and accurate as possible, right? We don't want to be a liability. So that all to just say, train more, push your standards, like just be better, be a better shooter, because we all know those guys who are super confident just because they have a gun and they're like, yep, I got my CCW. Got this 45. I'm sorry, not to
Picture the guy he's acting right now.
We're all picturing the same guy. But then something happens, right? And last time he shot that gun was 3 years ago, shooting a can of soda on the ground. Like, are you going to trust that dude to stop a threat when your kids are present and innocent bystanders?
Yeah, he doesn't even know. We don't even know if he's going to shoot good, let alone if his gun works.
Right. Yeah.
it might shoot one round and then cease.
And we know the likelihood, it's no one's questioning the likelihood of getting a shooting. It's obviously incredibly small, but that is not a reason or an excuse to be complacent with poor marksmanship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's honestly a big motivation for us when we make these drill videos, when we go out and train and make videos for YouTube and stuff. We want to see kind of constant improvement and just bettering our own skill set in the off chance that we have to use it, right? So hopefully you don't, hopefully we don't.
I think what we're trying to say is quality over quantity is what we're going for when we're training with ammo and the quote on the amount of rounds we shoot.
Yep.
I think that at least what I've learned from these two and Jared and Jack and the guys we train with, it's like the shooting that we do is incredibly purposeful. We don't just go out and, like you said, shoot a can on the ground. We almost always have a timer. We almost always have some kind of course of fire that we're trying to do, some kind of level of accuracy, or if Aaron's here, hit factor, or
I'm sorry,
or time, whatever it is. Even if it's like in a fun, competitive way, there's always some kind of level of progress we're trying to get to. So again, quality over quantity.
Yeah. And what's nice about shooting all these different drills and standards and qualifications is they're all different. They all work different fundamentals, right? I mean, the same fundamentals, but maybe different types of shooting. It might be close, fast and close, or far and accurate. You know, there's all these different things. And so we can kind of see our own deficiencies when we shoot these things because they're all different, right?
Especially when you're shooting with them.
So that's another thing about training and practice and purposeful rounds downrange, right? Is you're learning from it and you're figuring out, oh, this is a strength of mine, or oh, this is a weakness. I need to train on this a little bit more. It might be a reload, or it might be a strong hand only or a weak hand only, or maybe it's that first round out of the holster trying to be fast and accurate. It could be recoil management. You know, there's a whole long list of things. Transitions, right? That was one of your big goals for this year, is transitioning from one target to another and leading with your eyes, right? So having some sort of variety and kind of focused training can help a ton because it kind of shows you where you're lacking and what you need to work on. So that's another thing that I like about what we've been doing here.
Yeah, that critical eye helps a lot.
Yep.
Before you can see what you need to work on.
Yeah, for sure.
Or shooting with people who can see what you need to work on.
And just along those same lines, Colin mentioned a timer. So a shot timer is a good investment. And then also of recording yourself so you can actually see what you're doing, because without that, you think you know what you're doing because you're kind of feeling it, but you don't always know what you're actually doing unless you see someone else's perspective. So moving on to the next question is about dry fire. So along these same lines, how often do we dry fire?
So first, me?
Yeah, you go first. I don't want to go first.
We may all three be a little bit embarrassed by our answers, but I typically will dry fire for like 3 or 4, maybe like 2 or 3 minutes before I put my gun on and leave, if I'm going out. And then I usually do it, honestly, as much as I can when I take it off, whenever I get back from whatever I'm doing. I'll do at least 10 reps. I don't know how long that is, but...
We all know dry fire is important. And I personally need to dry fire more because I don't do it a ton. And, you know, it kind of varies. Like if I'm carrying the same gun and holster setup in a pretty typical outfit for me, I might take a couple of reps when I put my holster on, just to make sure everything is as intended, right? But if I'm gonna mix it up, carry a different gun, or if I'm gonna like wear a flannel or a hoodie or a jacket or some piece of clothing that's not super common for me, I'm going to take a little bit more time to make sure I'm familiar with how everything's moving and how I'm getting to the gun and all that stuff. So my drive fire is pretty limited right now.
Yeah, and this goes back to us knowing that we're fortunate enough to have lots of live fire in our life. So our dry fire needs, I guess, are probably very different than most other people's. I don't dry fire a ton. I do, like you said, if I'm wearing different clothing than I'm used to, I make sure to dry fire before I go out. And if I put a new part in the gun, especially something related to reloads, a magwell, or if I put a new dot on, I do dry fire as soon as I have that on to get comfortable with that setup before going to live fire. Because usually we run a lot of stuff. We try to run everything cold if we can. So if I put a new part on outside of zeroing the gun, there's a very good likelihood we're on video running a drill the first time I shoot that gun.
Yeah, true. But you know, that's one of those things where it's free. Dry fire is free, and all it takes is a little bit of time. And part of that time is making sure your weapon's clear and safe. Don't be an idiot and dry fire a live gun. Because then it becomes live fire, and it's not even dry fire at that point.
And live fire is irreplaceable.
Yeah. So go dry fire. There are a lot of programs out there. If you have a Shooter's Global shot timer or something like that, it can actually pick up the noise from the trigger press.
And dropping.
Yeah, it can actually record your dry fire.
Yeah, it does pretty good. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. Super cool shot timer there. But yeah, look into some dry fire, because that is an easy way to get better at almost everything except recoil management. So you can get out of the holster, you can work transitions, you can work different conformation levels on the trigger press, sight picture, things like that. So they're both super important. Well, are we good to move on from there?
Yep.
Okay. Another super frequent question we get is about weapon mounted lights and why we don't carry them, or why we don't carry them all the time, I should say, because we all do from time to time carry a gun with a light on it, but most of the time it's just going to be gun only. So why don't we carry a weapon mounted light?
That's my answer, because I always have a light in my pocket, and the reality is I am more likely to use this, and I use this light literally every single day, even just taking the dogs out to the dog run at night to go to the bathroom. There is a much higher likelihood I just need a light to be a light than I do to be a light on a gun. And especially, even if you do hear a noise, you hear the bushes rustling or something, there's I don't know, obviously very circumstantial, but I don't want to point a gun in a situation where I'm like, it might be the neighbor kid doorbell ditching us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm the same way. If I'm going to be, I don't always have it in my pocket, but if I'm going to be somewhere in the dark, I'm going to have a handheld light. It's not on me right now. It's down my gym bag, but that is going to be way more useful. Because if I don't have that and I'm just counting on the weapon mounted light, there could be a lot of issues using that light if, I don't need a gun, right?
Yeah. And I will clarify too, if like the neighbor kid thing, if I think there's someone there, or like I hear a noise on my house and I'm clearing the house, and it could just be the dog downstairs, I don't know. It is much easier to have your gun out and not point it at something and have your handheld light up than it is to have a gun pointed at something and hope you don't freak out and pull the trigger in a situation realistically none of us have ever been in and had to deal with.
Right.
So that's my train of thought on that.
Yeah. And two, we're just civilians. We're not like an authority, right? So it's not a good idea to try to go identify something with our guns, right? And that could cause a lot of legal issues. And maybe you haven't tried to shoot one-handed before with a light. it's not like crazy difficult. There's a lot of different techniques, and you can manipulate the light with a handheld way better than you can with a weapon mounted light. So there are some advantages, right? You can do a lot of things with a handheld that you can't with a weapon mounted light. And then the obvious other reason is the comfort aspect. You're just adding more material, more mass, more weight when you're adding a weapon mounted light, and that could be a little bit more uncomfortable in certain situations than just running gun only. Got anything to add to that?
Not really. I carry a light on me at all times. Same as Miles. Mine's just the bigger version of that Streamlight, and I use it every single day without fail. And I can't justify needing one on my gun right now. I definitely have carried with a light. It's doable for sure.
Yeah.
And this also goes back to all of us know this about ourselves. We're in a fortunate situation. The guns I have next to my bed, in case something happens in my house, have lights on them.
Yes.
The gun I carry where I might be at a movie theater or a mall or something like that does not typically.
Yeah.
So there's definitely like, I'm fortunate enough to have a dedicated home setup gun.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll get some light commandos in the comments said about us. I also think that, and this is just one scenario, but I think about it all the time. Like if I'm in a movie and something pops off and I'm like trying to help people with my light, if the cops do come in because they're trying to find the shooter and I'm directing people with my gun, like helping people through the back door, they're going to shoot me.
Yeah.
And even more, I don't know the words I'm thinking, but Slade from A Regular Defense told me once upon a time, many, many years ago, white light NDs get you killed. And we have watched a lot of videos get sent to us or we're tagged in of dry fire where every time they pull the gun out, that white light's going off because of the way they're putting their hand in their grip. And I'm not saying that's the reason I don't carry with a light, but that is something that has stuck in my head forever.
Oh, for sure.
Head back.
Yeah.
That's funny. It's white light ND.
Yeah. I mean, it was in a night vision conversation about button setup, but that phrase has transferred. It stuck with me. I don't know why, but it stuck with me in the way I set up and use all my stuff.
Yep. Yeah. So there's a lot of arguments either for it or against it. The last one I'll bring up is, if you have your gun out and you're using that light to ID a target or something like that, or you're getting your gun out to shoot something, and it's dark enough to where you need a light, there's an argument in the legal aspect that, I mean, you couldn't identify that, right? If your gun's coming out, right, because you see, there's a rustle in the bush, in the bushes over there. You can't identify that, right? Because it's dark. And so you need a light. So there's kind of like this conflict where it's like, well, you didn't even know what that was. Why are you pointing a gun at it or shooting at it? You couldn't identify it because it's too dark. So there could be some legal issues, but none of this is legal advice. You do what you want. And if you want to carry a light, that's awesome, dude. Do it, because we make a lot of light bearing holsters, and we want you to carry how you want, carry the things that you want. Just because we do or don't doesn't mean that's right or wrong. You do you.
I do think with the legal thing in mind, because we work in the industry that we do, and we see a lot more back-end conversations than a lot of people do, liability is something that is much more regular of a conversation in our lives than it is someone who doesn't work here. So it's something we're always thinking about.
Yeah.
And maybe a regular person doesn't consider the liability side of things quite as much in their decision making, which is fine. There's a lot of things I know the liability, and I'm going to do it anyways. But
that's why we live in this great country. Okay, so let's move on to We do get a lot of comments. This isn't, I guess, really a question, but a lot of you guys seem to think we don't actually carry what we tell you that we carry. So one of the questions was, do you really carry a full-size gun every day? Or do you really carry a long slide gun every day?
I get that question all the time in just my own DMs.
Yeah. Yeah. The answer is yes.
Absolutely.
This isn't like a stage video. And because like we've made a lot of videos about what is our EDC, you know? And
Yeah, we update that every year.
yeah.
You can go back several years and see that all of us are carrying full-size guns. Well, I mean, I guess full-size is relative. I carried a Glock 45, which is a full-size grip, which is the part of the gun that prints. So
Yeah. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And so yes, we do. Yes, we do. It's not impossible. Maybe it's just something you just gotta try.
It's actually easier than you think. And we get a lot of comments that are like, we're not carrying that. In Florida, I wear shorts and a t-shirt every day. All three of us are wearing shorts and a t-shirt today. And all three of us, these are the guns we carried into work.
Yeah. So obviously everybody's going to be different. There's different body shapes, body types, proportions, all these things, right? But the main things that are going to help you is a good holster and a good belt and knowing how to set up the holster with the gun that you're going to carry in accordance to your outfit, right? So that's probably kind of confusing, but good holster and good belt, you can't overlook those things. That's what's going to give you the mechanical advantage to conceal, right? Because your holster has concealment properties on it, and the belt, especially if it's rigid, that's going to aid in that and actually allow those things to do what they're meant to do. So,
Yeah, I think that people just need to like get over this endless hunt for a holster and gun setup that they can't feel.
yeah.
That doesn't exist, and it shouldn't exist unless someone found some magic. Because you're putting something in your waistband. Why not make it that's supposed to save you or someone's life? Why not make it the most possible scenario that it's going to function in your favor? Does that make sense?
Yeah. You want to set yourself up for success, right? And I don't think any one of us or any of you could name a person who's going to be a better shooter with a subcompact compared to a full-size gun,
Or
even just a compact.
I'm going to word this carefully. There was a time in my life where I was playing with a lot of fabric-based holsters. And we would go film videos, and more often than not, like more than 50% of the time, and I'm sure you guys have all seen ads for very similar stuff that is currently available. This is a company that doesn't exist anymore. More often than not, the belly band holster, like fabric holster style of stuff, will come all the way out of your pants if you're drawing fast, because you're not always drawing straight up. You're potentially canting your gun and dragging your front sight. If it's Kydex, that doesn't matter. If it's fabric, it does. So giving yourself a mechanical advantage applies in more ways than one. Look, Aaron's whole body is a mechanical advantage. So there's a lot of ways to take
mad. He'll get mad.
There's a lot of ways to take that phrase, and at the end of the day, all of us have made the decision that being good is better than being slightly more comfortable.
Yeah, and then also him talking about the gun slightly moving in a fabric holster. That's not good either. You want to be able to know where that grip is going to be, and it's be a consistent purchase every time. You don't want to be going, oh, it's over here this time. You know, that's a big thing for us too. We talked about that already, but
Yeah. So if you're new to this world, just know there's going to be a little bit of sacrifice, right? If you want a good setup, there's give and take here, right?
hey, the best things in life requires a little bit of sacrifice.
Yeah, so true. Yeah, so buy a holster. All right, so let's talk about the last question we're going to cover today, and that is on our belt clips. We get a lot of questions about this, mostly because probably 95% of the content that you see, you're seeing these belt clips, these easy adjust belt clips. These are something that we designed and that we make, and they come on all of our inside the waistband holsters. That's what we're going to focus on, not none of the OWB stuff right now. But so this is kind of like our standard option. These are the easy adjust belt clips. That's what will come. No upcharge for that. That's what comes on everything. But we also offer 2 other styles of belt clips. And if you upgrade to those, you'll still get these with them. But one of them is the Ulticlip. This one is designed, this is a metal belt clip, and it's designed to attach directly to your waistband of your pants or shorts or whatever bottoms you're wearing. It's designed to clamp on directly to that instead of a belt. If you get these, you'll see that the room in here to kind of get up in there isn't enough for most belts. So the belt can go on top of that, which is kind of a cool feature if you don't have a belt. You're using pants or shorts with like just a drawstring or something, or no belt.
Or tuckable. Those are obviously behind your belt.
Yeah.
Even all our holsters are tuckable behind the clips, but you still see the clip.
Yeah, and yeah, these are great for like kind of a deeper concealment thing. Even if you're doing a tucked in shirt, right, you can conceal this behind the belt a little bit. So these are a cool option. Some people feel like they just need a metal belt clip because they're scared of the plastic, but those are actually super robust, and we designed them in a way that they're going to be very, very strong. And I've never seen one of those break.
Yeah, I've never broken one.
Yeah, and we've been running that specific style of belt clip for.
They've been through it.
I want to say it's like 4 years since we designed that. Maybe.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
There's a lot of little interesting things about these that, I mean, maybe we should talk about more often that make these kind of unique and cool.
Maybe we do a whole clip video.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we designed those to function with the easy adjust system. So you don't have to take your whole holster apart to adjust the ride height and, move the belt clips up or down. There's like kind of a track in there that you can move those super quickly and easily. And that is also another pro tip for concealment and also accessibility, is getting a good ride height that you like, so that the gun is not only accessible, but also it's concealable. So that's all designed around this easy adjust belt clip. So I think if you're getting a holster from us, this is the best option for you. But if you absolutely must have a metal belt clip, there's these easy adjust that I just talked about, but we also have an option for the discrete Carry Concepts gear clips. And these ones have a little bit of adjustability, sort of the Ulticlips. You can see some slots in there, but they won't have the full range of adjustability as the easy adjust. So another benefit of these, I guess, is it is metal, and they will hold on to your belt very, very, very securely.
Sometimes too well. Sometimes I can't get them off.
Yeah. And that's personally, I always run the easy adjust because they're easier to work with. These getting them on and off of a belt sometimes is kind of a pain.
Yeah. And we're putting holsters on and off all day long.
Yeah.
And so it's a little more prevalent in our lives than someone putting it on in the morning, going to work and taking it off when you deal with it twice. Sometimes we got to deal with that 30, 40 times in a day.
Yeah.
And yeah, tears up your fingers. They're not bad by any means, but the plastic has never been an issue for me. So I've never had any reason to look at anything else.
Yep. And we have had a couple customers get in some gnarly accidents. We had a guy get hit on his motorcycle, and we ended up warranting his holster because it was like ground down from the pavement, like on one side, but the belt clips did not break. He
took
was
a pretty gnarly fall on my Heelys, and they were fine.
Yeah. So, but we have options for you guys for whatever your needs are. The Ulticlips, the DCC clips, or the Easy Adjust, they're all good. That's why we sell them all, and they're options for you. So whatever your needs are, order accordingly. And like I said, if you order one of the upgraded clips, you'll still get the Easy Adjust in your order. They'll come no matter what. So yeah, but we all typically carry the Easy Adjust. They are great. I think that about wraps up today's Q&A. Anybody else? You got a
Side note, if you buy the Apex, you have to use Easy Adjust. Just saying.
yeah, from us. Yeah, the Apex holster will only have an option for the Easy Adjust. But you can
switch it.
You can switch it on your own. We won't set it up for you that way, because one of the you'll probably have noticed this cutout in this side of the belt clip. We designed it that way for the Easy Adjust system, so it's easier to move it up and down and place it however you want. But it can be done with the other clips. You just have to do that on your own.
All right.
We appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching.
Drop more questions in the comments below, because we need questions for the next time we do this.
Yeah, ask away. And we might answer it if you're lucky.